Very good morning and welcome back to the last day of our revisions of Maths and Statistics and the last day of your marathon revision sessions. We are going to discuss the final two topics of statistics, which is Module 6 and Module 7, that is correlation and regression analysis and probability. Now, when you look at both of these chapters, the weightage is about 15 marks on an average. 15 marks, I would say somewhere between 7 to 9 questions approximately. Okay, 7 to 5, or rather 6 to 9 questions per chapter is being asked from these two chapters. So quite a good weightage. Okay, and the questions that are asked are not very I would say they are not very highly lengthy by nature, but they are a lot tested on conceptual understanding or on properties, etc. Okay, so first we are going to start off with correlation and regression analysis. Now if you look at this chapter on correlation and regression, friends, this is an out and out basically formula based chapter. So if you are confident with your formulae and properties, you can ace this chapter very easily. Okay, so let's begin. Correlation. So what is correlation? Correlation aims at establishing a mathematical relation between two variables in terms of their nature and magnitude. Okay, in terms of their nature and magnitude. Okay, there are technically 5 types of correlation. Perfect positive, perfect negative, positive, negative and 0. Okay, so there are technically 5 types of correlation: perfect positive, perfect negative, positive, negative and 0. Now when the word perfect is used, it means that the proportion of change between the two variables is the same. And when the word only positive or negative is used, it means that there is a movement but the proportion is different. Okay, so first thing, let's understand perfect positive correlation. X and Y increase or decrease simultaneously, that is, they are moving in the same direction in same proportion. Okay, so how will the graph be? The graph will be a straight line. The dimension of change will be the same, so therefore the graph will be a straight line sloping upwards from bottom left to top right. So it will be a straight line sloping upwards. Okay, so the graph of a perfect positive correlation will be a straight line like this. Okay, sloping upwards. The value of R, this is very important. When it is perfect positive, the value of R will be equal to exactly +1. And there is a property that it attaches to. Whenever it is a straight line, it is called as a linear equation or a linear correlation. And this linear correlation will follow the equation y is equal to a plus bx, where this b is positive, that is greater than 0. So in the exam, if they give you an equation y is equal to a plus bx and find the correlation coefficient அப்படினு சொன்னாங்கன்னா, if the b value is positive, directly you can write r is equal to +1. R is equal to +1. Okay, now coming to perfect negative correlation, x and y move in the opposite direction, which means one increases and the other decreases, but the proportion of change is the same. So this is also a straight line that slopes downwards from top left to bottom right. So the graph for perfect negative is going to be like this, top left to bottom right. Again, this is a linear correlation where y is equal to a plus bx, but this value of b will be negative. That is, the value of b will be less than 0. Upon what will be the value of r correlation coefficient? -1. The value of r will be equal to -1. 1. Clear so far? Next comes positive correlation, where x and y will increase or decrease simultaneously. Okay, like perfect positive only. But the proportion of increase or decrease is not the same. So, it is not a line anymore. It is only a set of points. It is not a line anymore because you are not able to draw it as a straight line. It is only a set of points that goes towards the upward direction, which means the points are sloping upwards from bottom left to top right. So when they use the word line, it is perfect correlation. When they use the word points, then it is non-perfect, which is positive or negative correlation. Now here, since it is positive, the value of r will be greater than 0, but it is not perfect, therefore a value of r will be less than 1. So r will lie between 0 and 1. It is a non-linear correlation, which means it does not have a linear equation. The same opposite applies to negative correlation, where x and y will move in opposite directions but in different proportion. Okay, like negative, but the proportion is different. The points will be sloping downwards. So the points will be like this. So the direction of the points will be facing downwards. However, it will not be a line. Okay, so r will be negative, but it will not reach the maximum negative point, which is -1. Therefore, r will lie between -1 and 0. And again, this is a non-linear correlation. And the last is zero correlation, where there is no relation between x and y. The graph will be totally scattered. There will be no upward or downward pattern at all. The graph will be completely scattered all around. And the value of r is 0. So the basic main important point that you have to understand is correlation coefficient has a limit. What is that limit? It can lie only between -1 to +1. It cannot lie anywhere else. The value of r can only lie between -1 to +1, including the limits. Including the limits. Is that clear? Okay. Please make a note so far of what we have discussed. So these points are all going to be relevant for answering your theory-based MCQs. Go through once and note down relevant points. Now, if there is, this is including the limits. So, if there is a mathematical correlation between two variables, however, if the two variables are not naturally related, for example, variables like sale of umbrellas and sale of laptops, something like that, where there is no relation between the two variables by nature, but they are mathematically, there is a number that is arrived, then it makes no sense, and therefore it is called as nonsense correlation or spurious correlation. Okay, so these are the types of correlation. Now, at your for examination level, for calculation of correlation, there are three types. Okay, rank correlation, coefficient of concurrent deviations, and Karl-Pearson's correlation. Very, very important is this Karl-Pearson's correlation. Very frequently tested area is Karl-Pearson's correlation and regression. Okay. So first before we discuss Karl-Pearson, let's quickly run through concurrent deviations formula and rank correlation formula. Now in concurrent deviations, the value is not considered. Only the direction is considered. Okay, only the direction of change or movement is considered. The value or magnitude is not relevant. The formula goes as R is equal to plus or minus root of 2c minus m divided by m, where m is nothing but the number of observations minus 1, which is n minus 1, and c is nothing but the number of plus signs when you calculate the total number of concurrent deviations. Okay, right? So for practice purposes, let us quickly do one question so that we are familiar with the formula and working, and you can practice the remaining questions from your materials also later on. So let's quickly do one sample question in the class for practice purposes. Okay, so first we are going to do deviations of x. The first value we do not know, so we are assuming it as nil. Now second, we have to see the rate of change between first variable and the second variable. It is an increase, so an increase is denoted by a plus sign. 11 to 12 plus, 12 to 14 plus, 14 to 13 minus, 13 to 12 minus, and 12 to 12 minus. Same way we are going to do it for y. The first value is nil. 35 to 37 plus, 37 to 36 minus, minus, minus. 31 to 30 is minus, and 30 to 29 is again minus. So now let's write the concurrent deviations, which is nothing but the multiplication of signs of x and y. So first value nil, plus into plus, plus, plus into minus, minus, plus into minus, minus, minus into minus, plus, plus and plus. So the value of C is the total number of plus signs you have in this table, which is 4. What is n? N is nothing but the number of observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs of observations. So n is 7. Therefore, m will be n minus 1, which is 6. So the formula goes as R is equal to plus or minus root of 2c minus m by m, which is plus or minus 2c, 2 into 4, 8, minus m, m is 6 by 6. So plus or minus root of 2 by 6 or 1 by 3. What is root of 1 by 3? .577. Now, whether you should take plus or minus, you should take plus, because if it is inside the root positive, outside the root also it will take plus sign. If it is inside the root negative, outside the root it will take minus sign. So this is about, this is, so this is the formula and working for coefficient of concurrent deviations. Now in the exam, either they may give table this value like this and ask you to find out, or they can give you the value of C, number of observations, and just ask you to find out the concurrent deviations. Or They can give you a concurrent deviations value and ask you to find missing figure like number of observations கண்டுபிடிங்க அந்த மாதிரி கொடுக்கலாம். So either ways the formula is just this. Take down and go through once. Any doubts if you have, please ask. Okay, so this is about coefficient of concurrent deviations. Where remember, if 2c minus m is negative, that is inside the root, if it becomes negative, then r will be negative. If 2c minus m is positive or greater than 0, then it is inside the root positive, r will be positive. So this is about the first one, concurrent deviations. The next one, rank correlation. So here we are going to rank the variables, and remember, rank correlation is going to be useful when the when the variables are in the nature of qualitative data. Okay, or if they are attributes or behavior patterns. So for all these, rank correlation is going to be useful. Now, with respect to rank correlation, there are two types of formula that is given. One is with ties, without ties, and the other is with ties. So without ties means where there is no repetition of the values. So rank correlation is given as 1 minus 6 sigma d square divided by n into n square minus 1, where sigma d square represents the differences in the ranks of x and y. Okay, so let's do one example again for rank correlation without ties. Okay, now first we are going to do ranking system. Ranking system, always remember, highest value gets the first rank. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And similarly for y, the ranking will be 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. Now D is nothing but difference between rank of x and rank of y. So 5 minus 3, 2. 4 minus 2, 2. 3 minus 1, 2. 2 minus 5, minus 3 and minus 3. And D square is square of differences in the ranks. 4, 4, 4, 9 and 9. Total 18, 12 plus 18, 30. Now, please apply the formula. 1 minus 6 sigma d square divided by n into n square minus 1. Go ahead, please calculate and give me the answer. Okay, so let's check the answer. R minus 0.5 is what he's giving me. So let's check. 1 minus 6 into 30 divided by n is 5. So 5 into 5 square, 25 minus 1. So 1 minus 180 divided by 5 into 24. 120. So 1 minus 1.5 minus 0.5. Minus 0.5. Okay. So this is about rank correlation without ties. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next, if it is going to be with ties, let's quickly do some question on ties. Now let us assume here, if you see, there are repetition of variables within x and y itself. So what happens when we give the rank? We have to distribute the rank in such a manner that these repetitions will get the same rank. Okay, and when they get the same rank, there will be a rank that gets skipped. So let's see how the ranking will be given for x and y. 1, 2. Now third and fourth position is tied. So 3 and 4 tied na. 3 plus 4 divided by 2. So the two people will get 3.5, 3.5. So third position is gone, fourth position is gone, and the last will be fifth rank. Now coming to rank of y. 1, 2, 3. Fourth and fifth position is tied. So what will be the average? 4.5 and 4.5. Okay, 4.5 and 4.5. Now go ahead and do d and d square. 5 minus 1, 4. 3.5 minus 2 is 1.5. 3.5 minus 3 is 0.5. 2 minus 4.5 minus 2.5 and minus 3.5. So you get 16 and 2.25, 0.25, 6.25, 12.25. Okay, take the total.
37.
Okay, so let's confirm. 37. Now, we have a small adjustment in the formula, which is 1 minus 6 into sigma d square plus sigma t cube minus t divided by 12. The whole divided by n into n square minus 1. So what is this t cube minus t? The number of ties. So here you have 2 ties, so there will be 2 values of t. 2 ties meaning 2 numbers which have got independently tied. இப்போ இன்னொரு நம்பர் டையா இருந்ததுனா 3 number ties. So how many ever number of ties we have, that many value of t you will get. Now what is the value of t? First number, how many times it got tied? 2 times. So t is equal to 2. Second number, how many times it got tied? Again t is equal to 2. So now we have to do t cube minus t. So 2 cube, 8 minus 2, 6. Again 8 minus 2, 6. So total is 12. So now we will write 1 minus 6 sigma d square 37 plus 12 by 12, the whole in the denominator, n into n square minus 1, which is 5 into 24. So 1 minus 6 into 12 by 12 is 1. So 6 into 37 plus 1, 38 by 5 into 24. Calculate and give me the answer.
Minus 0.9.
Minus 0.9.
9.
Minus 0.9. Okay. So this is the calculation of rank correlation with ties. I hope it is clear, friends. Any doubts? Yes, ma'am.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்துட்டு 3.5 போட்டோம்ல மேம், அங்க வந்துட்டு இந்த 3 plus 4 by 2 இருக்குல்ல, அதை மட்டும் வாட் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றீங்களா?
So which numbers got tied you need to check. So third place and fourth place got tied. So the average will be 3 plus 4 divided by 2. இப்போ suppose 3 positions tie ஆயிருந்துச்சுன்னா 3 third position, fourth position, fifth position மூணு ஒரே மார்க்கா இருந்ததுன்னா then we will take 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by 3. So எந்தெந்த ranks tie ஆயிருக்கோ take that and divide by the number.
ஓகே மேம். அதே மாதிரி தான் இப்போ இங்க ரெண்டு 2 வந்துட்டு டைப் ஆயிருக்கறனால 2 plus அது வந்துட்டு 4th and 5th rank, 4th and 5th rank divided by 2.
Yes, exactly.
Yes ma'am.
Okay.
Yes ma'am.
So this is about rank correlation with and without ties. I am showing the formula again just for your reference purposes. Okay. Now we move ahead to Karl-Pearson's correlation. Now this correlation is going to be considered as the best method of correlation because it considers both the change in value and the change in sign simultaneously. So the formula for Karl-Pearson's correlation, product moment correlation is R is equal to covariance of xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. Now what is covariance formula? Standard sigma x minus x bar, arithmetic mean of x is nothing but x bar into y minus y bar divided by n, or sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided the whole divided by sigma x minus x bar the whole square into sigma y minus y bar the whole square in the roots. This is the value of calculation of R. So I am putting the formula again in a simpler manner also for your ease of understanding. I believe all of you are familiar with the formula, but just for a recap. R is equal to covariance of xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y, which is equal to sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by root of sigma x minus x bar the whole square into root of sigma y minus y bar the whole square. If illena, there is an alternative formula which is more frequently tested also. N sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by root of n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square into root of n sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. So here you will need the for values x, y, x square, y square, xy. So in the 5 columns and n of course, number of observations. If you have these values itself, you can calculate correlation of Karl-Pearson. Now remember a main property. This, when we look at this formula, R value cannot exceed 1. Numerically it cannot exceed 1, which means always standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y will be greater than, okay, or equal to covariance, absolute value of covariance. Absolute na sign எடுத்துட்டு value பாத்தீங்கன்னா the value of standard deviation of x and y product will always be greater than the absolute value of the covariance. So which means in the numerator, say if it is 15, positive or negative, எப்படி வேணாலும் இருக்கலாம். If it is 15 na, denominator, product of standard deviation will be either 15 or more than 15 numerically. Clear? So this point you need to remember. Please make a note. Got it?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
concurrent deviation is the 2c minus m greater than 0, lesser than 0, positive and negative one போட்டுருக்கோம் ஃபார்முலா பார்த்தோம்னா அதை மட்டும் ஒரு காமிங்க மேம்.
Okay. It's here.
Okay ma'am.
Okay. So this is about Karl-Pearson's correlation. Now we will work out Karl-Pearson's questions in the practice question scenario because many questions are repeated from that pattern only. So we will take that at that time. Now, properties of correlation. First one. Correlation cannot exceed 1, minus 1 and 1 respectively because the value is numerically between the limits. R is not affected by change in origin. R is affected by change in scale, only to the extent of direction and not by magnitude. Now friends, at your level, this is only a theoretical question. Practical questions have not been much asked in this property. So you can just remember this as a theoretical property. Next, coefficient of determination is given as G is equal to R square and non-determination is 1 minus R square, where determination is equal to explained variance by total variance. So these are the basic properties that you will remember for correlation. Remember, correlation is a relative measure, which means it does not have any unit of measurement. Clear? Take 2 minutes, go through correlation, and then we are going to discuss regression also, after which we will be doing the combined questions on correlation and regression.
போல் லெட்டர்ஸ்ல இப்போ ஒரு 3 இது கொடுத்திருக்கீங்கல்ல, எக்ஸ் ஒய் பி அண்ட் டி, அது வந்துட்டு இப்போ அதுவுமே தனியான ப்ராப்பர்ட்டியோட
it is an extension of the property of change in origin and scale.
Change in origin and scale.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is what, இது வந்து practical testing நிறைய பண்ணது கிடையாது. ஸோ அதனால் நீங்கள் இது practical testing பற்றி இப்போ கவலைப்பட வேண்டாம். But remember this as a property at your examination level. Done? Shall we go to regression? Shall I, friends? Yes. Now, extension of correlation is regression. It is nothing but prediction of one value, arriving at the estimated value or the most likely value. Idella the hint words. Okay, estimated value or most likely value. So regression is nothing but to predict the one value, find the estimated or the most likely value of one variable given another variable where there is a linear mathematical relationship between the two variables. Okay. Now what is the form of regression equation? There is only one correlation coefficient between two variables, but there are two regression equations where one is called as x on y, where x on y அப்படினா first value தான் dependent, x dependent on y. Same way if I say y on x, the first value y is dependent on x. Now it is very important to see in the question which value is given. Whatever is given or the known value is the independent variable. இப்போ x கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா x value is independent variable, therefore y will become the dependent variable and the equation that you will use is y on x. If suppose it is vice versa, then you should use x on y. So you should be very clear in identifying in the question which value is given. Whichever is given is the known value. Known value na independent value. எது தெரியாதோ, whichever is unknown is the dependent value. அதுதான் leftல வரும். அப்படி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. Okay? So எது leftல வருதோ அதுதான் உங்களோட equation. So the equation is x is equal to a plus by for x on y, and for y on x it is y is equal to a plus bx. So whichever you want to find, you are keeping it on the left hand side. Okay. Now what is b? This a is a constant value. What is this b? This b is the regression coefficient, which is nothing but the degree of multiplication or the slope of the variable. The slope of the variable. Okay. Now how to find out d? You have the formula here. How to find out b? bxy. Remember again, If it is x on y, the regression coefficient is called as bxy. If it is y on x, regression coefficient is called as byx. So which coefficient you want, that will be very, very important when you look at the question. Now bxy is equal to r into standard deviation of x divided by standard deviation of y, where r is correlation coefficient. Similarly, here it will be r into standard deviation of y by standard deviation of x. So denominator la you will have the known variable, numerator la unknown variable. Or alternative formula, covariance of xy divided by variance of y. Variance is SD square. Here again, covariance of xy divided by variance of x. And in terms of xy, what is the formula? bxy is equal to sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by sigma y minus y bar the whole square. Yena variance venum. Or you can write n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by n sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. Square root will not come because this is variance in the denominator with covariance formula. Same way here, in the numerator will remain the same. The denominator will just be changed to the variables of x. Is this clear? Okay. So byx and bxy, to find out, you can either use r and standard deviation, or you can use covariance and standard deviation, which is variance. Or if the values of x and y are given, you can substitute depending on the formula that is relevant. So ellame ore formula da in different formats depending on what question information is available, use the relevant data. Okay. And how to find out a in this equation? So in the above equation, how we have now found out this bxy and byx. How to find out a? After you find out bxy and byx, we should find out the arithmetic mean of x and y using the data. Should find out the arithmetic mean of x and y using the data. Once you find out the arithmetic mean of x and y, you will substitute and substitute arithmetic mean of x and y and the byx or bxy value to find out the value of a, which is the missing figure, and therefore you will get the regression equation. Am I clear?
Ma'am, கடைசி point மட்டும் ஒரு வாட்டி சொல்றீங்களா?
எதுமா? arithmetic mean point அம்மா?
arithmetic mean கண்டுபிடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம்
okay, arithmetic mean கண்டுபிடிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் you will get the missing figure a.
Yes ma'am.
After you get a, the equation will be written as y is equal to, suppose a oda value 5 னு வருதுன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்க, and regression coefficient say 0.5 இருக்கு அப்படினா, the regression equation will be written as x on y அப்படினா x is equal to 5 plus 0.5y. So that after you find the value of a, you should just write the value of a and b in the regression equation, and that becomes your final regression equation.
Yes ma'am.
And questionல வந்து find the estimated value அப்படினு சொன்னாங்கன்னா எதோட வேல்யூ கொடுத்திருக்காங்களோ அதை substitute பண்ணி you can find the estimated value. Okay?
Estimated value ன்றது நம்ம
the question will ask find the estimated value of x, estimated value of y அப்படினு questionல கொடுத்துருவாங்க.
Okay ma'am.
Okay? Take down, we will do one question combining Karl-Pearson's correlation and regression so that you are comfortable with the formula and working, basic working ones, and then we will go to the property. Just look at the formula once.
இப்போ வந்துட்டு வந்துட்டு இந்த BXY ஃபார்முலால வந்துட்டு கோவேரியேஷன் ஆஃப் X and Y டிவைடட் பை வேரியன்ஸ் Y இருந்ததுல மேம். அந்த இடத்துல வந்துட்டு அதுக்கு ஒரு ஹிண்ட் இங்க கீழே வந்துட்டு அதோட ஃபார்முலா படி சமேஷன் ஆஃப் Y மைனஸ் X
y
bar
bar the whole square.
அதுக்கு சொன்னீங்கல்ல, அது ஒன்னு ரிலேட் பண்ணி சொன்னீங்களே, என்ன சொன்னீங்க அதுக்கு மட்டும்?
Okay, so you are asking in the variance of y க்கு the denominator will be root square root வராது, ஏன்னா இங்க நம்ம variance தான் யூஸ் பண்றோம், so square root போட மாட்டோம், அதுதான் சொல்லியிருப்பேன் நான்.
Okay ma'am, okay.
Okay,
yes sir.
yeah. So now let's do one question. Now you can use any of the formula. You can use x minus x bar, y minus y bar, அது பண்ணலாம், or x y, x square, y square and xy, அதை வச்சு கூட பண்ணலாம். If data is given like this, you can use this formula x square, y square, xy. So now I want you to find out R, Karl-Pearson's correlation, bxy and byx. Okay? You can use the formula for Karl-Pearson's correlation, n sigma xy minus sigma x sigma y divided by n sigma root of n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square into root of n sigma y square by minus sigma y the whole square. Like that you can use. So first step is finding out the totals of x, y, x square, y square and xy. Please calculate. Yes, so here these are the values of sigma x, sigma y, x square, y square and xy that you all given me. Now R 0.11 is what our friend is saying. So for R I am repeating the formula again, n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by root of n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square into root of n sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. Now same way, if it is for bxy, what you should do is, numerator is the same, n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by variance ங்கிறதுனால root will not come. Now y இல்லையா, so denominator லையும் it will be n sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. And byx is n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square. So our friend is saying it is 0.11. What is the value of bxy and byx? Please tell me. Answer?
1.2 ma'am.
1.2.
2.
Okay, bxy, yeah?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, and byx?
0.011.
0.011. Okay. So let's cross check. Um, yeah. Okay. I hope you're getting these values approximately. Plus or minus decimal errors is fine, but please work at least with 3 decimals minimum to get accurate answers. Are you clear with the basic formula? Can I continue?
Yes ma'am.
Yeah. So now going to the properties of regression. The first 2 properties are very important. bxy, byx and r. So the 3 values will always be having the same sign. If it is positive, all the 3 are positive. If it is negative, all the 3 will be negative. And the relationship between regression coefficients and correlation coefficient is regression coefficient's geometric mean is equal to correlation coefficient. So R is equal to root of bxy into byx, or bxy into byx is equal to r square. And therefore, we all know that r cannot exceed 1, plus or minus 1. Which means r square also cannot exceed 1. You know, 1 oda square 1 the maximum. So r square cannot exceed 1 gardanaala, the product of the 2 variables, 2 values, regression coefficients are bxy into byx cannot exceed 1. Numerically, it has to be less than 1. Clear? This property is very important, very frequently tested property in the formula which da varum regression la. Okay. Third, regression equations. The intersection point of regression equations is the arithmetic mean of x and y. So if you solve the 2 regression equations, the answer that you get will be arithmetic mean of x and y. Next property, when r is equal to plus or minus 1, the regression lines will coincide. And when r is equal to 0, the regression lines are perpendicular to each other. And the last is change in origin and change in scale rule, where regression of coefficient is not affected by change in origin, but regression coefficient is affected by change in scale by both value and direction. Okay. So, this is major property, first 3 property. This is very important even for your practical questions perspective. Go through and please make a note.
வந்துட்டு ரெக்ரெஷன் ஈக்குவேஷன் 2 கொடுத்திருப்பாங்கல்ல, அந்த ரெண்டையுமே ஃபைண்ட் அவுட் பண்ணி அது மூலமா ஏஎம் ஃபைண்ட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம்
क्वेश्चनல வந்து ரெண்டும் கொடுத்துட்டாங்கன்னா am கேக்குறாங்கன்னா ரெண்டு ஈக்குவேஷனையும் நம்ம நார்மல் ஈக்குவேஷன் சால்வ் பண்ற மெத்தட்ல பண்ணா x, y கிடைக்கும். That x, y is nothing but x bar, y bar.
ஓகே மேம். எஸ்
ஓகே
மேம். ஒரே ஒரு நிமிஷம் கொஞ்சம் ஸ்க்ரோல் முன்னாடி பண்றீங்களா? அந்த a ஈக்குவல் டு மினிமம் வேல்யூன்னு ஒரு இந்த ப்ராப்பர்ட்டிஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி காமிச்சீங்களா? எதா மேம். Note பண்ணிட்டேன். Thank you.
Okay. So this is about the properties of regression equations. Now let's go ahead and start with the practical questions of correlation and regression. First question. X is equal to 1.36y minus 5.2 and y is equal to 0.61x plus 1.51 are the two regression equations. Find the correlation coefficient between x and y. Now how do you calculate this? Now the equations are x is equal to 1.36y minus 5.2 and y is equal to 0.611x plus 1.51. Now friends, in the equation sometimes directly they would have given like this, x is equal to y is equal to na. So either which we can say this one is x on y and this one is y on x, because whatever is in the left side becomes the dependent variable. But remember, this will not always be correct. We have to test, and if it is wrong then we have to change the hypothesis. So now to find the correlation coefficient, we know the rule r is equal to root of bxy into byx. Now how to find bxy? Very simple. If x on y equation என்னது, x is equal to a plus by. அப்போ y க்கு கூட என்ன வேரியபிள் வருதோ, என்ன வேல்யூ இருக்கோ அதுதான் b. So here in this case bxy is 1.36 and then what will be byx? 0.61. Condition number 1, both of this should be of the same sign. Are they of the same sign? Yes, satisfied. Condition number 2, work out. Root of 1.36 into 0.61. Calculate. You are getting 0.911 or 9108, whatever it is. Now if these two are positive, r will also be positive. Remember, when you multiply these two, உங்களுக்கு கிடைக்கிற value should not exceed 1, which means this answer should not exceed 1. If it exceeds 1, then it means நீங்க இது ரெண்டுத்தையும் மாத்தி எடுத்திருக்கீங்க. You have to take it opposite. Am I clear? Yes friends, am I clear? Can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Next, before I go to the second question, I want you to first try question number 3 and 4. Then I will come to second question. Please try question number 3 and 4. 3, consider the following results. N is given, sigma dx is given, sigma dy is given, sigma dx square is also given to you, sigma dy square is also given, and dx into dy. So basically what they have given is sigma x, sigma y, sigma x square, sigma y square, sigma xy. So now you can use the formula and find the answer. Now which formula will you use? So in the very question, there are two types of formula that we can use. One is n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y. Okay, this formula you can use, or sigma x minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by root of, and the formula use பண்ணலாம். bxy கேக்குறாங்களா? regression தானே கேக்குறாங்க. ஓகே, இது யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். இப்போ இது ரெண்டுத்துல எந்த ஃபார்முலா யூஸ் பண்ணணும், அதை எப்படி கண்டுபிடிக்கிறது? Tell me. When they use the word dx, dy, okay, remember when they use the word dx and dy, okay, then it means it is deviation of x and y. Deviation gardu x minus x bar. Deviation of y na y minus y bar. Then they have given dx square, which is x minus x bar the whole square. dy square, y minus y bar the whole square. அடுத்தது என்னது? dx dy, which is x minus x bar into y minus y bar. So questionல dx, d என்ற word இருந்ததுன்னா it is deviation. இந்த minus formula வரும். அப்போ இந்த formula யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டோம். We will use this formula. So questionல என்ன data இருக்குன்னு clear-ஆ பார்த்துட்டு use the relevant formula. Now this is the first point. Second point, they are asking you to find the appropriate regression coefficient. They have not told whether you have to find byx or xy. How to understand whether they are wanting you to find bxy or byx? Here data is available for both. So in the denominator you can use x square, அதை வச்சு கண்டுபிடிச்சா you can find out byx, or bxy you can find out. In the exam, if you are confused, ma'am எது கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுன்னு தெரியல அப்படின்னா, if the question is not having hint, find out both. If you are able to find out both, find out both. Optionல எது available இருக்கோ அதை select பண்ணிடலாம். Clear? So here I want you to find out both bxy and byx. Go ahead, please calculate and give me the answer. And similarly also try question number 4. Answer for the third one. Yes, what is the regression coefficient of bxy? No, bxy will be minus 4360 divided by root of வராது, y minus y bar the whole square will come, which is 215. Okay, and byx will be minus 4360 divided by 1344. Okay, so these are the workings. Fourth one, r square is equal to 0.3, bxy is equal to 1 minus 1.5, byx is equal to. Now the question says r square is equal to, so we know the formula, byx into bxy is equal to r square. So bxy is minus 1.5, so 1 minus 1.5 into byx is equal to r square, which is 0.3. So calculate byx is equal to 0.3 divided by minus 1.5, which is minus 0.2. Remember the sign, remember bxy and byx will have the same sign, so this is negative, minus 0.2. So clear with the fourth one?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
sigma dx க்கு வந்துட்டு சொன்னீங்களா x minus x bar அது சொன்னீங்களா அது சப்போஸ் x minus x bar அந்த ரிலேட்டட் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன்ஸ் கொடுத்திருந்தா அது சால்வ் பண்ணி போடணும். தட்ஸ் டைரக்டா சிக்மா dx இருக்கறனால அத
We
நம்ம
are just
டைரக்டா யூஸ்
using the
பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
formula. Yes, yes.
ஆக்சுவலி சிக்மா x minus x bar அதே மாதிரி y minus y bar இது எல்லாத்துக்குமே வந்துட்டு அந்த d அப்படிங்கிறது மீனிங்கா இருக்கும் அதுல.
Yes, D refers to difference or deviation.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, now coming back to the second one. The two regression equations in a bivariate analysis are mx minus y plus 10 equals 0, minus 2x plus 5 equals 14. The correlation coefficient between x and y is 1 by 10. Value of m is... Sorry, this 10 is a printing mistake. Okay, so let's calculate the two regression equations. Mx minus y plus 10 equals 0, and the second equation is minus 2x plus 5y equals 14. Minus 2x plus 5y equals 14. Now, இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கறச்சே how to find out which one is x on y and which one is y on x? Okay. Always remember the shortcut. So this is a shortcut and this will work in 90-95% of the cases. This will work. Okay. Whichever has the higher variable. இங்க 2 இருக்கு, இங்க 5 இருக்கு. So இதுல எது value அதிகம்? 5 is the value high. So keep whichever has the higher value on the left side. So keep 5y on the left side. You will get 14 plus 2x. Or y is equal to 14 by 5 plus 2 by 5x. So what is this equation? This is y on x and the regression coefficient is byx is equal to plus 2 by 5. Now, if you have identified that this is y on x, let's do this as x on y. Keep x on the left side is equal to minus 10 plus y. So x is equal to minus 10 by m plus 1 by m y, where this equation is taken as x on y and bxy is equal to 1 by m plus 1 by m. Clear? Now remember, why I gave you this hint is, in this equation, question paatha odane we are not able to identify எது x on y, எது y on x னு. So for that I am giving you the hint. ஏதா ஒரு equation எடுங்க. அந்த equationல x value is high or y value is high, please check. Whichever is value is high, keep that on the left side. Take the rest to the right side. அதை base பண்ணி equation கண்டுபிடிச்சுக்கோங்க. Okay? 95% this shortcut will work. Most questions this shortcut will work, so you don't have to worry.
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
அதே மாதிரி தான் இந்த பக்கம் mx y க்கு வந்துட்டு
m என்ன வேல்யூ தெரியாதுல நமக்கு. m வேல்யூ தெரியாததனால தான ப்ராப்ளம் இங்க. m can be any value, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is why I am using this equation first.
Okay.
Okay. Now we know the regression coefficient is correlation coefficient is 1 by root 10. So r is equal to 1 by root 10. And we know the formula bxy into byx square root is equal to r or is equal to r square. எப்படி வேணாலும் எடுத்துக்கலாம். So we can just calculate 1 by m into 2 by 5 is equal to r square. R square is 1 by root 10 the whole square, which is 1 by 10. So you get 2 by 5m is equal to 1 by 10. Cross multiply. 20 is equal to 5m. Therefore, m is equal to 20 by 5, which is 4. Now this summarizes your question. Is that clear? So for you to identify, if the question is not clear on which is x on y, which is y on x, please use this shortcut in the examination. Fifth question. In a bivariate regression analysis, the difference between actual value of a dependent variable and predicted value of a dependent variable is called residue or error. Residue or error. These are some property-based theory questions. Sixth one. In a bivariate analysis, if the dependent variable d is equal to actual minus predicted value, the best fit curve occurs when the sum of d square is minimum. That is, ஒரு வேல்யூக்கு d square கிடைக்கும் இல்லையா? So d1 square, d2 square, d3 square. So total of all the d square will be minimum. Next, bxy and byx are regression coefficients and r square. What is the formula for r square? R square is equal to bxy into byx. Next, eighth one. In a bivariate analysis, xy is given sigma x into sigma y கொடுத்தாச்சு x square. This is x square. And sigma x is given. If there are 5 items, which means n is equal to 5. Find byx. So all data is given to you. You can use the formula n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square. Directly you can find the answer. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ninth one. The two regression equations are given. The mean of the series. Now, how to calculate mean from regression equation? Very simple. You have to solve the two regression equations. So, let's take the equation. 8x minus 10y plus 66 equals 0. And 40x minus 18y minus 214. So, 40x minus 18y minus 214 equals 0. So, now you can just solve the two equations. So I am just multiplying the first equation by 5. 40x minus 50y plus 360 equals 0. This is 40x minus 18y minus 214 equals 0. So 40x minus plus and plus. Now you get minus 32y plus 5 equals 0. So y equals 574 divided by minus 32, which is sorry, this is 330, my bad. 544. Minus 17. So y is equal to minus 17. Substitute 8x minus 10 into minus 17 plus 66 equals 0. So 8x plus 170 plus 66 equals 0. x is equal to 29.5, I guess. So therefore your arithmetic means are 29.5 and minus 17. Arithmetic mean can be negative, don't worry. Okay, so answer of arithmetic mean is just by solving the two equations. Is that clear, friends? Next, again they have given you all the variables value directly. Consider the following results. N is equal to 6, sigma y square, byx is given. Okay, and sigma x square minus 1 by n sigma x the whole square. So they have given you all the variables. You can calculate dxy. Now here, if you see, they have given you yx. So they have given you byx. byx ku enna formula? N sigma x square minus, n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by n sigma x square minus sigma x the whole square. Okay. Now they have given byx is equal to minus 11 by 34 is equal to, let us substitute, 6 into sigma xy. Sigma xy value illa. Okay. Sigma x value irka? That is also not there. So in the numerator, except for n, we don't have the value. So I am going to keep the entire numerator as it is. Divided by, now see what is given for the denominator. They have given sigma x square minus 1 by n sigma x the whole square. Sigma x square minus 1 by n sigma x the whole square is equal to how much? 34. நமக்கு ஃபார்முலால என்ன வேணும் versus என்ன இருக்கு அதை செக் பண்ணுங்க. If you see here, I need n sigma x square. So basically I need to multiply this entire equation with n. Appo what will happen? N sigma x square minus n and n will get cancelled. I will get sigma x the whole square. Correct? So now when I multiply this entire value by n, I will get what I need. So denominator la அப்படியே 34 னு எழுத கூடாது. We need to take 34 into n because I am multiplying the equation with n. So answer is minus 11 by 34 is equal to n sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y divided by 34 into how many observations? 6. 34 into 6. So now your numerator value will be minus 66. இந்த ரெண்டுத்தையும் அப்படியே நியூமரேட்டருக்கு எடுத்துட்டு போனா you will get minus 66. Clear? Now you have got the numerator as it is. Now they are asking you to find out bxy. அதுக்கு numerator is not going to change. அது அப்படியே வெச்சுக்கலாம். Numerator is minus 66 divided by n sigma y square minus sigma y the whole square. So minus 66 divided by, let's see what values are given. N is given, sigma y square is 318. So 6 into 318 minus sigma y is 42. 42 square. That's all. Substitute, find the answer. which is 0.458. minus I guess, sorry, minus 0.458. Which is 11 by 24. Yeah, 11 by 24. Minus 11 by 24. Anyways, whether the answer is in decimal or fraction, you can choose accordingly. 13th, variance of x is given, variance of y is given, covariance is given, correlation is equal to. So, correlation coefficient is equal to covariance of xy divided by standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. So, for standard deviation, what you will do? You will take the square root of the variances. 14th, regression equation of y on x is 3x plus 5y is equal to 12 and x on y is 2x plus y equals 7. Find the value of y when x is 10. Now, this is what is I told you as most likely value on the madri kekaradu. Now, how to find the value of y? Okay. Now, what is the missing figure? What is missing? Is y missing or x missing? Friends, please answer.
Y.
Yeah. So, y is the required value. Now, when y is required value, y becomes the dependent variable left side. So, equation is y on x. Apo which equation we should use? You should use y on x equation. Maathi idhula substitute panningana answer thappu. So, when y is the missing figure, you should use y on x equation. When x is the missing figure, you should use x on y equation. So, here I will substitute in this equation 3x. So, 30 plus 5y is equal to 12. And find out the value of y. Okay. So, please remember that is very, very important. Depending on what is asked in the question, choose whether you have to do y on x or x on y. Next, r is equal to 0.52. Sigma x. This sigma symbol represents standard deviation. Standard deviation of x is 4.6. Standard deviation of y is 36.8. bxy. Simple. R is bxy formula is equal to r into standard deviation of x by standard deviation of y, which is your first formula, r into sdx by sdy. So, this formula you can use. Is it clear, friends? These are some of the questions which are not very long in working. Working pathingana chinnada da irukum. Ana formula clear ah therinjadhaan work panna mudiyum. So, you should be very, very clear with respect to formula and how to use the formula in this chapter. That is very, very crucial. Any doubts in correlation and regression? Okay. So, with this we complete the module on correlation and regression.